great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion. Welcome back to the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. This is episode number 746 of the show. Today is January 22nd, 2025, and I have a very special guest with us today. I announced it yesterday. The people were excited. His name is Daniel Axelbaum. Daniel, how are you?
I'm wonderful, Jim. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And so we're here because we're celebrating, in a way, your 5-year anniversary with the firm. It's hard to believe you've been here 5 years, Daniel, because you're such a valuable member of the organization.
Well, thank you so much. It's a pleasure working for you. I enjoy every day. So thank you, Jim.
Why don't you tell the people sort of what you spend your day doing at Hacking?
Well, as the callers used to tell me when I did the show with you, my job is to take calls and make notes, and that's about it. That's a good summary. But I try to see if someone has a case that we can help with, and then explain our services, our fees, and have them speak with one of our attorneys to hear more. So that's basically what I do.
Awesome. What's your favorite part of your job, Daniel?
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to speak with people from all over the world. So that's I'm very grateful for that, and just hear about so many different experiences. So I feel very lucky.
Daniel's a great listener. For those of you who haven't had the chance to talk to him, he's very, very good. And I was looking at some of his notes yesterday, and it was a pretty complicated case. And Daniel said in the notes, I think we might be able to do a 601 waiver here because the person's dad just became a green card holder, which that's pretty high level stuff, Daniel. That was pretty insightful.
Well, thanks, Jim. Thank you. Yeah, nice of you to say. So yeah, well, how are you doing today, Jim?
I'm good. I'm good. Amani's up in New York. She won her naturalization case. She was worried about that, so that was good. And she'll be coming back tonight, hopefully. Today is the 2-year anniversary of her mom passing away. So if anybody watching the show is of a praying way and want to pray for Nargis Ragab, just say a little prayer for her. It's the 2 years ago she passed away. I thought I had it all jumbled up in my mind. I thought she died before my dad, but it was after. So in any event, should we go ahead and get started with some calls?
Yep, that sounds great. And yeah, well, just on that note, you shared a really nice LinkedIn post, and I'm glad it was really beautiful what you wrote, and I'm glad you shared it with all of us.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I miss her a lot. I'm surprised how much I missed her because she used to drive me crazy because she lived with us for 3 years, but I don't know. It's she's something else. All right, let's go ahead and say hello. So remember, everybody, we're off camera. We're using aliases. We're not using our full name. We're not. Hopefully not saying anything identifying. If you want to get specific, maybe use an alias or talk about your friend's case, things like that. So we don't want anyone to sort of get jumbled up with immigration because of things they say on the show, which is why we're sort of handling things differently. I'm going to go to Dimitri first. Hello, Dimitri.
Hello, so how are you today?
Great. How are you
Dimitri.
doing?
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate for my opportunity to speak on this show. So I've got one question. I passed American border from Mexico in October 2022, and recently, so we have Form 8220, and we feel the political asylum for our family, for me, my spouse, and my son. But in some reason, my spouse didn't was not added to a system for a long time, and now she is appeared for a month ago, and she was scheduled for a separate master hearing, and Now we learned about a visa program for talented individuals, and after reviewing the criteria of this, I realized that I can meet the requirements for this program. And my question is, am I eligible to apply for visa talented individuals when I entered the U.S. Without legal authorization?
Why did you do that?
Uh, because we didn't know about this program before our passing. We was run uh, from Russia because we have a situation, not good situation there, and we are not uh, we are not the Russians, so we have racism, uh, and we need to go to war like this. So we went from there.
Okay. So I was supposed to let Daniel go first. So Daniel, do you have any questions for him, or do you want me to just jump right in?
No, I think you're going to enjoy answering this one. I think it's something you've addressed before. So, Dimitri, thanks a lot for your question. We appreciate it.
So, Dimitri, when you enter without inspection or come across the border or get paroled in at the border, your immigration options are extremely limited, and you cannot take advantage of any employment-based green cards because you're inadmissible because of your entry without permission. So unless you have a U.S. citizen parent or spouse, you're not going to be able to get forgiven for entering. So really your only shot is your asylum case.
Oh, thanks. So I thought like this, but we are trying to get our asylum.
Yep, I
And
think that's your only chance.
yeah, but if my spouse and me with my son are separate cases, we don't know why, but in system, my spouse is separate from me and my son.
So what court is your case at?
It's New York court.
Have
New
you
York.
hired an attorney to handle your case in court?
Uh, we try to make the one court, but I don't know. We didn't have opportunity to get on master hearing or something like this. We are just in electronical system, and we didn't.
So that wasn't my
When
question. My question was, have you hired an attorney to help you with your case?
uh, we have our lawyer, but he says that it will be. We need to add my spouse later when she has some.
I just want to make sure you're not going to asylum court, immigration court with an asylum claim without a lawyer. You have a lawyer?
Yeah, yeah.
So they should be able to combine your case with your spouse's. There's a motion you can file to do that.
So we need to complain this case before her master hearing or after.
I would do it as soon as possible.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Good luck, Dimitri.
Yeah. Have a good day. Thanks.
Thank you, Dimitri.
All right, Daniel. Next up is Hey with an exclamation point. Hey, hey, hey.
Hi, Jim. Hi, Daniel.
Hello, hey, welcome. Well, you might know, I don't know if you know, in our office, I have a running joke that I don't like people saying, hey, like, hey, Daniel, or hey, attorneys. So you're lucky Jim brought you up. I wouldn't have done it. Sorry to tell you.
Okay, so I have a fiance, and we met each other when he was in America. He was on an H-1B1 visa at the time. And about 3 months after we started dating, he told me that he had gotten in some trouble in that OPT scandal thing that went around in, I can't remember the exact year, like 2020 time around.
Mhm.
And he left America because he became a Canadian PR holder. But eventually, America granted him a waiver on his H-1B visa, and a tourist visa, both waivers. My question is, now I'm thinking about bringing him back to America. How would that process be about? Would we file another waiver prior to?
No, you're talking about getting married and applying for a spouse-based case.
Yeah, I would be filing the I-130, and it would be the visa abroad because he's in Canada.
Right. So, unfortunately, the rules don't allow you to file for the waiver until you've gone through most of the process
Okay.
and gotten to the very end. So what'll happen is you'll go to Canada and get married. You'll
Yeah.
file an I-130 petition. Right now, that process is taking 14 months.
Okay.
Then your case will go to the National Visa Center. Right now, that process is taking about a month.
Okay.
And then you're going to have to wait for an interview date in Montreal, which is going to be a long time because they're very slow. And then once he shows up to his interview, they'll say that he needs a waiver, and that's when you can file the waiver. And then right now, those waivers are taking like 2 or 3 years to get approved. So he's not coming anytime soon.
Okay, I figured. I'm planning to go and be in Canada temporarily to be with him
Yeah.
until we can get him here.
Yeah.
So the waiver should be filed then after his consular interview.
It can't be filed until after his
Until
consul.
after. Yeah, it can't be.
Yep.
Okay. The fact that he's gotten waivers prior, is that a good sign? He's gotten a waiver for his H-1B and he got a waiver for a tourist visa.
It
And
is. I'm pretty intrigued that he got the waiver. What was the basis of the waiver? Do you know?
So, yeah, I do. The OPT fraud happened, like when you have 2 months approx or 3 months, I forget the exact time, to get a job once you're on OPT, a legitimate job. Well, he figured out after 3 weeks of taking one of the fake consultancy letters that it was a fake place. He went and then got a legitimate job within that 2 month, 3 month period. But they still revoked his visa for some reason.
Mm-hmm. But are you sure that he actually got a waiver, or that they said that he didn't need, like, because if I'm you.
He got a waiver. He got 2 waivers. He got them both in his passport. He actually just visited America too over Christmas with his waiver on his tourist visa.
I might suggest that you maybe call the office and talk to me. Maybe you could talk to Daniel and say, hey, I'm Hey. And I was on this. Don't tell Daniel, he'll get pissed, but say, this is Hey. And I was talking to Jim on the show. I need to talk to Jim. I think there's some things we could talk about.
Okay. We did just recently last month submit a FOIA request because we're kind of curious to what exactly is going on.
Yeah.
Because I'm wondering if they made a mistake possibly because I know what he did is not material, as you call it, right? Like he didn't gain an immigration benefit from.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is that if I were your lawyer and he was getting ready to go to that consulate interview finally in Montreal, I would go in hard arguing that there was no misrepresentation, no fraud, and that he doesn't need a waiver and that they can approve the visa. Like I would brief all that shit before he goes into the interview for him to bring with him.
Okay, do you know that when they go to these interviews, do they keep like records? Like he's been wondering that, like when he goes to when he's gotten his H-1B, do they keep a record so everything he says is documented?
Yep.
Okay. And then my next question is, in Canada, it takes quite some time to actually get the actual marriage certificate. Is it possible to file the I-130 after we're married, but I don't have a copy of that marriage certificate right at that moment?
Nope.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you, Hey.
Thank you, Hey.
Daniel, what has changed in the intake department since you started?
Well, we have a lot of staff overseas. We all work remotely, and so a lot more people, and so a lot has changed, but all in very good ways.
And we keep changing our software on Daniel, which drives him crazy. But I think
that is true. That's true. Well, And something that's, Jim, I mean, I totally understand people not coming on camera right now, but it's kind of sad to me, we used to do it like we wouldn't pull people up unless they were on camera because it's just better TV. As I love seeing people talk and smile with you.
Yep.
You think you see that changing anytime soon, or, I mean?
I would say that there were a couple things that happened towards the end of the year that got me thinking that we really need to be careful about what we say in here, probably all the time, right? Because sometimes people will say really dumb stuff on here and their name is on there and they'll be like, I just had my interview in Philly yesterday. And, I know there's immigration officers that watch the show, and I would just hate, I think the trade-off, it sucks. I agree. Having people on camera is much more fun. And I'd like to see their reactions. But if I ever were to find out that someone got their green card denied because of something they said on the show, I'd feel really bad.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. All right, you ready for another call?
Yep.
Here comes Sage.
Hi, Sage. Welcome to the show. How are you today?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're happy to have you. What's your question for Attorney Jim Hacking, please?
That's so cool. I have 3 questions, actually. I'll make it really fast. I know a lot of people have to chat here. So I'm a Canadian that's married an American citizen, and I'm waiting on my I-130. I've overstayed my, I came across as a Canadian. Am I at risk of deportation while I'm waiting on that I-30?
May I ask, or sorry, Jim, but who filed the I-130? Are you married to a U.S. citizen or
A U.S. citizen.
All right. And when was that filed?
It was filed July of last year, and we've been married for 2 years and together for 4 years. I was
All right.
previously approved for the 90-day fiance, but I was pregnant at the time, so we ended up getting married a bit earlier.
All right. Well, Jim, what do you think?
Keep going, Daniel. You know the next question to ask. Keep going.
Well, I mean, what's the plan? Are you planning to go back to Canada, or you stay here? Or?
No,
Yeah.
we'll be staying here. My husband has a good job, so I'm a stay-at-home mom right now, so we'll be
So did
staying
you
here.
file to adjust status, 485?
No, I have not done that yet.
Why?
We've been stalking, to be honest. We just haven't done it. So
Okay. The I-130 gives you no status. The I-45 gives you status. So that was a really big mistake.
okay.
You should file that yesterday.
Okay.
You need to file, maybe for work authorization, so you have proof of status. Whenever you file an I-130 separately from the 45, bad things happen, right?
Okay.
If you're in the United States and you're planning to adjust, was it a money thing or was it something?
Money, yeah. Just accept.
Well, you got to scrape together that money and get that 45, because 45 would be a good defense if they tried to deport you. I-130 doesn't mean much of anything.
Okay. So get that filed yesterday.
Yesterday.
Okay. My second question is, I have kind of a holy heck folder that if something happens, and I have your guys' name as my attorneys for representation. Does that work if I'm in a different state?
We help in all 50 states, but I'm curious what a holy heck folder is. If you could please explain.
Holy heck folder. We might have to make a TikTok about this. What's a holy heck folder?
It's my passport and just things that in case I, just passport and my anything to do with Canadian to kind of go with me. If holy heck.
Got it.
Yeah.
But we're not your lawyers right now, you mean?
Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
kind of like if something happens, that's who my husband would call.
Yeah, we handle stuff all over all 50 states. Immigration's fine. That
Okay.
works.
Awesome.
Is your husband going to need a co-sponsor, or does he make it?
Yeah, no, he makes a decent money. Yeah,
Okay,
we're
good.
we're over 80,000 a year.
Get that thing on file.
Okay, I will.
All right, bye, Sage.
Bye.
The holy heck folder, indeed.
I like that.
Nice. All right, well, let's go to HQ.
Hi, Jim.
Welcome, HQ.
We spoke previously this week about, my wife and I are in different states, and all this time we had thought that her F1 was a good backup in case we get hit by some sort of clerical error. But we had a complete mind shift speaking with Jim, and we really appreciate that insight you've given us. We have one follow-up question or actually a couple follow-up questions for you, my wife and I.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hello, hello.
Side
Yes,
character,
indeed.
hello.
Characters here, yes.
So when we do the AR11, previously when we filed it, we had listed our address, our one address is like the primary, and put a note that she was maintaining a separate address.
Mhm.
When we fill out the updated AR11, what reason should we put for that note no longer being there? Should we just say has now moved in, or should we elaborate on it any further than that?
I would say something like she decided to move in, and I would leave it at that. No big expository.
And when say, I'm very much a noob at this, and I appreciate your insights.
Sure.
So say we're in the interview process, and they put us into a corner, and they try to say, "Hey, why'd you guys wait so long to move in?" Is that one a reasonable question they would ask, and two, how should we answer that?
I would throw lawyer A under the bus and say, I got some bad advice. I don't think you necessarily need to name the lawyer. I got some bad advice that told us that we had to maintain her status above all costs, even at the cost of not living together. And we very much wanted to live together. And it wasn't until we talked to an attorney who knew what he was talking about that we realized that we could move in together and do the whole process together.
Okay. Not to question that, but like, does that? I mean, I feel like that's sort of putting
Let me ask you
even
this:
though we're responsible for those actions.
Is that the truth? Is what I said the truth?
Oh yeah.
So the truth is the best answer.
Okay.
We did. I mean, you said I'm a noob, and I think if you told an immigration officer I'm a noob, and then you say I didn't know what I was doing and I got some bad advice, I think A, it's true, and B, that would resonate with them.
Got it.
I mean, let's play it out. Let's play it out. Like, what do you think would be a good answer to that question, or what do you think would be a bad answer? Because I'm not that worried about that question.
Oh, I mean, we ran it through our heads, and at the end of the day, how do I put it? We thought a good answer would be, like, we were undecided, and we eventually came to the conclusion on our own that we should move in together. And we thought a bad answer would be, kind of what we hinted at last time, was like, we're just trying to ensure that we have a backup scenario, which that's not a really good implication or inference to say, because they would just imply that like it's transactional.
Yeah. I don't think anyone's going to hold a defense against you, but I think probably the best answer is one we haven't even talked about yet, which is, you ready for it? Here it comes. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Living apart really sucks.
Yeah. We felt it. We felt it.
We felt it from the beginning.
And so once somebody was smart enough to unlock that door, it was an easy decision.
Yep. Do you have any questions?
Also, so as part of the letter telling them that we moved in, I know you mentioned to get an ID in that new state that I'm gonna move in.
Yep.
Do you think adding also like cancellation of my rental here, internet, and all of that would be too much, or is that fine to add as part of showing that I moved in?
You're talking about if you get an interview? Or
Yeah.
you to the portal?
Or both, right? So like,
or both.
Yeah.
Like even before going to the interview, if it's something that we can submit with the letter that notifying them I moved in.
That's a good question, Daniel. I don't know that we've ever gathered evidence of somebody canceling where they live. Have we ever talked about that? I don't think we have.
I've never heard you talk about that.
Yeah. Not bad evidence, but might be overkill. but not bad evidence.
Okay.
And maybe
Also-
maybe you don't want to draw too much attention to it. Just make it. You guys seem to be putting a lot of energy into this issue, and I might encourage you to like get to a more neutral place with it, if that makes sense.
Okay. Okay. Also, I'm moving to where my husband is, and the state is basically one of those states that a lot of mass deportation is occurring. So what do you think about that in terms of the move-in? Do you think that should impact it, or
No?
no?
I don't. I don't think someone who's been in valid F1 status for what was it, 9 years or something
Yep.
is going to be high on their radar in those states. So no, I don't think you need to worry about that.
Okay, and having the authorized state, meaning the I-485, I also have the EAD and stuff, and
Yeah.
that should be fine for me to travel within the U.S., right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I think that was the questions that we had.
And then one follow-up question, Jim. So I know they say for example, we're walking on the street and they challenge our status, right? I've got an ID, she's got an ID. Is there anything beyond that we have to have just ready at any given time to prove that we're here legally?
I hate to think that I'm even thinking about this, but I would suppose the only other thing I'd have with me is the 485 receipt notice.
Receipt notice, like the printed receipt notice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, I would encourage you guys to take a deep breath. Your case is probably going to get approved. I think I understand why you're anxious, but I don't think you need to be.
Understood.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. So Daniel just said something. So Daniel, in the scenario that we're talking about, where we have a beneficiary who's been on a PhD path, getting degrees and been here for 9 years, married to a U.S. citizen, they're moving in together. In the scheme of complexities that you hear every day, Daniel, as an intake specialist at our firm, and specifically when we talk about the complexity that we've been seeing the last 3 months since the election, where would you, on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you put this scenario that we're talking about here?
Well, compared to what I hear, this is not complex at all, and I mean, I appreciate when people are concerned and take it seriously. So I think we appreciate your questions very much, HQ. But overall, I think you should have a lot of confidence in your case and be honest and listen to what Jim is saying. Is just say the truth and how much you love each other and want to be together and
Yep.
enjoy your life. And so that's what I would say.
Well, yeah, thank you for
All right.
the time, Jim. The work you do is really good. Helps us get, a well-rounded kind of, viewpoint to it, and as well as a second opinion. And yeah, appreciate the work that you do. Have a great week, and thank you both.
Keep us posted.
Thanks for coming on.
Yep.
All right.
Jim,
Yep.
I got a quick question for you. Or
Yeah,
do you want to say something?
No.
Well, I'm just a huge hockey fan, and you mentioned you were going to go to a game, I think last week. I was wondering how you enjoyed it.
Oh, I got some really nice tickets on StubHub. They were like $200 a piece. Daniel, my seat was literally on the red line, like right in the middle.
Wow.
And we were right behind the penalty box. So we had great seats. The Blues scored in the first 40 seconds of the game, and then later on Calgary scored, and then the Blues scored again with about 4 minutes left, which was good because I didn't want overtime. So it was really fun. I forget how fun hockey is and sort of how fast-paced it is. The whole game was about 2 hours and 15 minutes. It was really fun. We should go to a game next year. I like going, and I don't ever go.
I would love it. Yeah, I've been to 2 games this year, and I just love it. Yeah, it's so much fun. Their intro is really exciting, too. I don't know if you caught that, but yeah.
It was weird. It was weird, though, because they played Calgary back-to-back. Like,
it was like a baseball
Thursday.
Yeah, we don't usually. I saw him on Thursday then, and we won. It was a good one.
Yeah, Tony said, did Jim make the Jumbotron wearing his baseball gear? No, Tony, but I tried. I wore my baseball gear in the hopes. But the thing is, the Cardinals are so bad, nobody even wants to talk about the Cardinals. That's why. That's why. All right. Let's go to C, you are on camera. If you turn off your camera, I'll pick you next after Lucky. I'm going to go to Lucky and then I'll go back to C. Hi, Lucky.
Salam alaikum, big boss. How you doing, Jim? Hello, Daniel.
I
Good.
recognize
you,
this
man.
voice. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I don't even know where to begin. Today is super, super cold in Canada. No wonder I'm the third Canadian caller.
You don't
So
have to
it's
tell
all
us about
crazy.
that. That's crazy.
I had a diversity visa interview last week with Montreal, and I was born in Syria. I honestly don't even know where to start. The fact that I'm in Montreal and I was born in Syria, these things don't usually go together very well. But what do I know? I'm literally carrying my passport right now with the visa in hand. Just picked it up an hour ago, and I'm on my way to Niagara Falls. I can't even believe it. So thank God,
That's
thank
great.
God, thank God. I'm so lucky,
So
so
lucky.
blessed. And I have a very quick couple questions for you guys. So there's this port of entry called Rainbow Bridge at Niagara Falls, and I always go on that bridge on foot as a pedestrian. I really like that place, and I'm thinking of doing that as well today. But somebody told me that if you want to present yourself at a port of entry with an immigrant visa, you have to show CBP that you are indeed moving to the United States with your luggage, with your stuff. And the fact that I'm traveling like on foot with not much stuff will alert them and they could turn me back. Is that true?
I don't know. I've never had anyone ask me that question. I guess my bigger question would be, what is your plan short term as far as being in the United States?
Well, I do plan on getting a social security number, getting a driver's license, establishing an address, opening a bank account, all that. And then eventually I'd like to get a re-entry permit within the next few months or so, and then circle back to Canada, finish my
So,
education, and then come back.
so first of all, you're going to wait in the United States until you have your physical green card.
Uh, I'm hoping. I
No,
don't know for sure.
that's the wrong answer. The answer is, well, here's the thing. What if Donald Trump had brought back the Muslim ban yesterday
Uh-huh.
and included Syria on that?
Well, I wouldn't know because the immigrant visa is on a Canadian passport.
Yeah,
Back,
but let's just say that he and his racist buddies said we're going to expand it to anyone who's ever had a visa from one of the a passport from one of the banned countries. I wonder if they did that.
I would be toast. My immigrant visa will be as good as paper.
Right. And you want to live. I mean, I think you do not want to play any games with the wonderful thing you have in your hand.
Exactly. I want to make sure it's secure.
And so leaving before you get your green card is a real invitation for problems. So, my point of reference in a situation like this is, I want you to be able to live your life, but more importantly, I want you to keep your green card.
That's
Like,
true.
to me, as the immigration lawyer, that's what I think about, right?
That's true. That's true. So you would want me to stay in the US until I get the green card.
Yeah, and therefore I would bring a whole lot more shit, and then I wouldn't have to worry about Rainbow Bridge.
I see. Even if the temporary green card with the endorsement serves as an actual green card,
That's a joke.
Okay. Okay, interesting. The other question that I have is during the Trump era, Jim, since you've been practicing law for quite some time, did you notice any difference in enforcement of the regulations regarding the issuance of a reentry permit in terms of rigorous or like maybe some scrutiny or some, the way they pull some stuff with the other categories, that they also target reentry permits?
That's a great question. I would say no, I didn't. I don't think Daniel would say that either. I just think the one thing that we saw was it went from taking 3 or 4 months to 12 months, and you're supposed to wait in the United States till you actually get it.
Okay, I appreciate it. I may have to just endorse it, to be honest, and see what I can do. I'm gonna just have to play with what I can. Unfortunately, it doesn't.
All right, brother. Take
Thank
care.
you so much, guys. You guys
Thanks
have
for
a good one.
coming on.
Absolutely. Take care.
Bye-bye. All right, everyone's talking about their favorite bridges. We should call this the Canadian American Immigration Answer Show. Actually, I referred someone. I have an immigration attorney friend in Calgary, of all places. We were just talking about the Flames. And she does cross-border stuff. And so I don't know about you, Daniel, but this week I've had more inquiries about, hey, Jim, do you know an immigration lawyer in X country? I'm thinking about moving there. Have you had any of
really?
those calls? I've had 3 this week.
I have not heard that before. No.
Tony says Daniel needs to field a playbook call. Now, Daniel, you know about the playbook, right?
I think I know what we're talking about.
The I-130, actually, I should back up. The come on a visit visa because you're married, get divorced after you get the visa or after you come to the United States, marry a U.S. citizen, a marriage doesn't work out, so a man usually files an I-360, and then they're off to the races. You've had, I mean, people don't necessarily believe me when I say, I mean, we talk about that case on this show like 3 times a week, but we get a lot of those calls, don't we?
For sure. And something you've said is if I've heard it like, if I hear it like 5 times a week, imagine how much USCIS hears it. And yeah.
For sure.
So I think that's a little unfortunate that it's so common, but
can I just say how much better the show is having Daniel here? It's great.
That's really nice, Tim. That's nice.
Let's go back to C.
Okay, and then I have a question for you in between. Next one. C,
Hi,
welcome so
Jim and
much. We
Daniel.
appreciate it.
Hi, Jim. Hi, Dan.
Hello. Thanks for coming on. How can we help you?
Yeah, good morning. I have a question for a friend. So she came in as she came into the US. She was on asylum, and according to her, she filed for an employment-based green card through an employer in America. So maybe last year she got her green card, in the mail. So her question has been, how could she withdraw the asylum? Asking me if I have a lawyer that could help her withdraw the asylum now that she has a green card, or should she wait until, she becomes a US citizen, like maybe in the next 4 years plus, or can she do it by herself?
Well, that's a great question. Definitely, I'm going to let Jim answer, but Jim has made several videos on how exactly, if you think it's a good idea to withdraw, how to do that. So you can definitely find those on our channel. But I'm definitely curious to hear what Jim says about that.
So you definitely don't need a lawyer to withdraw your asylum case. What I would do is I would get my receipt notice, and on my receipt notice, I will have a case number. And that case number will tell you which asylum office has your case. For instance, if it says Z, they all start with Z. If it says ZCH, then that's Chicago. If it says ZAR, then that's Arlington. Okay, so what I would do is take my receipt notice, and they look like they were printed on a dot matrix printer in like 1960s.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And you can look up the address online, and I would send them a copy of my green card, a copy of the asylum receipt notice, and say, my name is C's friend. I applied for asylum back in 2017. I never had an interview. As far as I know, the case is still pending. I want you to know that I want to withdraw my asylum case. I don't need it anymore because now I am a lawful permanent resident. Please see my attached green card. Please close out my asylum file and consider it withdrawn, and then send it to them by Federal Express or certified mail, so you have some kind of a proof that you have withdrawn that asylum case. It's not the most important thing in the world, but it's better to keep a clean record, I think.
Yeah. According to her, she has been doing okay. Then one more question, please. I have this colleague of mine. She was on asylum, then filed I-140. So maybe with an employer, but was not able to file I-485. However, she's been waiting, and it looks like there is a backlog. So she's been worried about the new government and what it has to offer. So, but she is still reading. Right now, I think she's doing her doctorate. So she's kind of like asking if is there any other way she could, maybe try to fight for herself and family, or can she just wait?
So she's invalid right now. She's invalid non-immigrant status, like she's on an F1.
No, she has been on asylum.
Oh.
So she got an employer, as in filing I-140, but did not file I-485 together. Like the other person filed I-140 and I-485 together, that got her the green card. But this other person got I-140 approved, and I-485 has not been filed, and looks like there has been a backlog, for some countries and stuff. But she has been worried about what the new government has to offer, her children growing and everything.
So,
well,
go Go ahead, Daniel.
Let me jump in. I mean, see, it's a great question. I always, I mean, I like when people say, I have a friend who she did this and this. It's like, well, there's a lot more details we need to know to know if it's the same situation. Like,
Mhm.
if her priority date's not current, then I don't think she could adjust status at the same time, or she's
Yeah.
going to have to remain in valid status to
Mhm.
file for that adjustment. And I mean, I don't think we could come up with like another way for her to make it happen. So like all these details are going to be important, like how she entered the United States, what kind of visa, and what her category for the I-140 is.
I
So
know her too well. Yeah, I know her too well because, as I said, she entered legally, as in maybe visiting, then filed asylum, then continued. As a matter of fact, she's a nurse who now has I-140 approved, but I don't know what happened. The employer did not file I-485 together. They decided to file I-140 at the first time. So there came
Right.
backlog, and the priority date is not current, according to her.
So we've skipped Daniel raised a lot of good issues, but we've skipped the biggest question of all. Okay.
Yeah.
So did she file? So she came on a visit visa or a
Yes.
student visit visa?
She came on a visit visa, filed asylum, was working after maybe 6 months.
Hold on. Did she file for asylum before the 6 months were up?
I think it was after 6 months, according to her.
Right. So then she can't. Asylum is not a bridge for her to adjust status. So if you see if this makes sense, generally you have 1 year to apply for asylum after arrival.
Yeah.
But if you apply in those first 6 months while you're still in status,
Yeah. I think that was what happened.
well, you just said it was after 6 months.
I made mistake. I thought I mean she got it within the 6 months. She got her what do you call it, work authorization. Yeah, that means she filed it at the right time.
No, it doesn't. Those two things aren't related.
Mhm.
And are you saying that she worked on her asylum EAD?
Yes.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. It's very, very, very hard to get USCIS to consider asylum, like a long pending asylum case, to be maintaining your status for purposes of adjustment through employment. Like your first friend who did it through marriage, they're
she did it through employment as well.
Okay.
Employment.
Okay. Well, sometimes USCIS will honor that and treat that as status, and sometimes they won't. If you file it after the 6 months, they definitely won't. If you file it within the 6 months, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So I think your first friend might have got a little lucky, and your second friend is going to need that same luck, and they're going to have needed to have filed in the first 6 months.
Oh, okay. So there's nothing she can do right now than to wait, keep waiting?
Just wait.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Jim.
All right, bye, C.
I
thank you,
really
C. Appreciate you coming on.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, Daniel, I think you said you had a question for me.
Yeah, well, thank you. I just wanted to get your thoughts. A lot of talk about TikTok, and I remember when you started your TikTok account. I mean, you've had a lot of fun making videos. I mean, a lot of people are finding us through TikTok, and I was just curious, I don't know if you can talk about it, but your thoughts on.
I haven't been on TikTok since Sunday. I made a big mistake. They said it was off, and then they said it was coming back, and I couldn't get it to work, so I uninstalled it on my phone, and now I can't reinstall it. So I need to make some TikToks because I haven't done it in a while. I got to do some on my iPad. Hey, here's our friend Yassine Hori saying hello to you, calling you the greatest. Daniel, that's our friend Yassine up in Wisconsin. I mean, Daniel, I'm sure you don't spend much time on TikTok.
I don't, but I appreciate that people find you there and enjoy your channel.
Yep. All right, should we take another call?
Yeah.
All right, great. Hold on 1 second, and we'll go to Omar. Hello, Omar.
Omar, welcome.
Hi, Jim. Hi, Daniel. How are you guys?
We're doing great. Happy to have you here on the show today. How can we help you?
Just this is the first time I talk to you guys, but I watch your show. But my question is, I've been here 8 years. I applied for asylum in March 2017. I never had any interview, but still, when I see in the USCIS, still it show me pending. So when I will expect interview during this situation?
Well, Omar, I'm happy you came on with this question because actually our team was just talking about this morning. Jim was bringing up, or yesterday actually, this question of, I mean, we usually are in the business of helping people get decisions on their cases. We've helped a lot of people with pending asylum cases. I feel for you here so long, kind of with this pending status, but I'm definitely going to let Mr. Jim answer, but I think we're kind of recommending, maybe just keep waiting right now. But it's a great question, Jim. What do you think?
So, Omar, which asylum office has your case? Do you know?
Yeah, San Francisco.
Okay, so they're one of the slower ones. But here's the way I would think about it if I were you. It's good that your case wasn't decided in the last 2 years of the Trump presidency, because in the last 2 years, they had baked in all their hatred of asylum seekers and baked in all the new rules and ways of screwing over asylum seekers. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Last year, around March, we started thinking that Donald Trump might come back in January of 2025. So we started advising our clients at that time, clients who, like you, filed in 2015, 2016, like that, 2017, like that, people that have been waiting 7 or 8 years without an interview. We started telling our clients, hey, you might think about suing them now so that you get your interview before Trump comes back in January. And knock on wood, that really worked out for a lot of our clients. Not all of them, but most of them, especially some really old, long cases. A lot of those got approved. So now that Trump is back, there's an argument to not file a lawsuit in January of 2025. But if it were me, and everyone's going to get mad at me for saying this, especially my wife, I would still file a lawsuit right now. And the reason for that is I still think it's going to take 6 months or a year for them to bake in all of their hatred and bad rules and things like that. I think they'll do it faster than they did it last time. But I think your best chance of getting a good decision might be now, because here's what you have to ask yourself. Do I really think that I can go another 4 years without Trump and his team deciding my asylum case? I think the chances of that are pretty low. Now, I never in my wildest dreams would have thought you'd wait 8 years like you have, but do I think you can make it to 12? No, I do not. Do I think that you're better off getting it decided now than 2 years from now? Yes, I do. So if you were in any place other than San Francisco, like if you were in Arlington or Chicago, I would be pretty confident that we could get you your interview in 2 or 3 months, right? Like Arlington doesn't even wait for the U.S. attorney to reach out to them. We sue those suckers and they turn around and schedule that thing for an interview right away. Like it's like they're waiting for those lawsuits. Chicago is almost as fast. San Francisco, I haven't checked, but a couple thoughts. Number one, I think less people are going to be filing lawsuits on asylum cases right now, which means that even San Francisco and Los Angeles will catch up. And I'd be much more, if I feel like my asylum case is strong and that it's a winner, I'd want it decided in the first 6 months of the Trump administration than in the third year of the Trump administration.
So changing the asylum office, maybe it's a good idea.
That's going to add more time.
Okay.
I can check, if you email, I can check with the team and figure out, I haven't heard lately how fast San Francisco is scheduling post lawsuit. Some of them were saying there was a while there where they were really getting sued a lot, where they said, okay, we see that you sued us. We will schedule you for an interview in 6 months. Is that okay? And we'll say, yeah, it's better than nothing. We'll take that. Now, right now, I don't know if that's what you would want with Trump, right?
Yeah. I went 3 months ago. I in San Francisco asylum office. They have office like walk-in, like the Monday from 12 to 4 and Friday 9 to 12. They have walk-in, not appointment. I went like 3 months ago. I asked them, okay, I've been here almost 8 years, so I never had any interview. What I'm gonna do now? We are working in 2016. Maybe soon you will have interview notice. They say like that.
They're just making that up. They're just making that up. That doesn't mean anything. They just make that shit up.
Omar, if you send us an email, we're happy to kind of talk to you about it more. I mean, I'm glad you came on today. Sorry you've been waiting so long.
Yeah, I will talk to you. Just I will find something to talk to you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Thanks, Omar.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's still. I mean, that's what I think, Daniel. Until I start seeing approval rates drop real fast, or until I hear about them tightening up the rule. I mean, I think at this moment, what they're focused on more than anything is border stuff. And so, while they're doing stupid shit like talking about birthright citizenship and border stuff, I'm thinking we should be over here doing what we do best.
Well, Jim, this took a while to get you fired up about lawsuits. We're like 50 minutes into the show here.
Yeah. All right, let's take a couple more calls. And then we'll let Daniel get back to work. Ming is here. Hello, Ming.
Hi, Ming. Welcome. Thanks for being here. How can we help you?
Thank you, Jim. I wanted to ask a couple of questions. A came in on F1 visa to the country about 2022. A was an OPT when A got married to a spouse. They both filed, and the I-130 was approved last year, October, but the I-485 wasn't approved. Prior to the approval, A and a spouse had been having multiple issues, fighting and all sorts of that. And there's so many infidelity on behalf of the spouse and multiple verbal abuse. A was asked to leave the house. She threatened to call the cops on A, and eventually A moved out of the apartment. While all of this was going on, A filed for VAWA because the spouse threatened to withdraw the case from USCIS, but never did. Along the line, A did apply for the EB-1A that was approved last week. So A is considering of adjusting status. Wanted to know what would be the best thing for A to do at this process. They are still married. I understand the wife had submitted a complaint for divorce, but wanted to know what would be the best advice for A.
Does A have a lawyer?
No.
A needs a lawyer ASAP. This is way too complicated to talk on a show right now about this. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts here. Was A in status when A's spouse filed the I-130 petition?
Yes. A was actually on his OPT.
Okay. So A had never been out of status?
Never.
And at the end of has OPT ended, and they're like, as of right now, the only thing they're writing is the spouse case?
Yes, and the VAWA.
And the VAWA. What country is A from?
Nigeria.
So this person has a whole lot going on. They have an I-130 with an unapproved 45. So first thing we have to ask ourselves, why in the world would USCIS approve the I-130 but not the 45? Any thoughts on that?
No.
Why do you think? There's something in A's file that made USCIS willing to say the marriage is real. We believe this is a valid marriage. We believe that both parties have the legal capacity to marry, but there's some reason why we don't want to give A their lawful permanent resident status, or something that concerns us about whether or not this person is admissible. What would that be?
I wouldn't know, because the only thing I would think was because I think A applied for a visit visa many years ago, which he never got. And there's never been any fraud, nothing.
Okay, time out. When A applied for the visit visa back in Nigeria, did A say that they were married?
No, A has never been married.
Until the United States.
Correct.
Why was A's visit visa to the United States denied?
A was coming for a conference. I think it was in 2012, and the visa was never approved.
When A applied for the F1 visa to come to the United States, did A disclose the prior denial?
Yes.
And when A applied for green card status, did A disclose the prior denial?
Yes.
Good. Okay. All right. Well, it might just be racial profiling against people from Nigeria, right? It could just be that. Like, they're just going to sit on the case and see what happens. The divorce from A's spouse is already on file?
No. So the spouse only told A that she submitted the complaint for divorce last week, but A hasn't received any notice from the court yet.
Well, I don't care about that. But as we sit here right now, we think that the spouse has filed for divorce.
Correct.
Okay. And we don't know if the spouse notified USCIS of that or not.
The spouse never did.
As far as we know.
Yes.
Because spouses lie about that. Okay. All right. Now tell me about the vow claim. What evidence of violence does A have?
They were mostly mental and emotional abuse, and also evidence of infidelity on behalf of the spouse.
Can A prove that?
Yeah.
Okay. Infidelity and mental abuse probably don't amount to a valid vow claim. It might, but most likely not. Threatening to withdraw an I-130, cheating on a spouse, that's not violence against women or against the person. So I think we've got some problems. I think we've got a Nigerian person who's racially profiled. We got a 45 that wasn't approved for some reason that USCIS is suspicious. We have a prior visa denial. We have a pretty thin vow claim. And now, out of left field, we have filed and we have an approved EB1A. Is that what you said?
Correct.
And is that priority date current? I don't know.
I think it's current.
Has A applied for adjustment based on that?
Not yet.
And did A file the EB1A without a lawyer?
Yes, without a lawyer.
And okay. Well, I don't know. What's the question for me other than, Jim, wouldn't this make a great law school exam question? What's the question for me?
The question is, what would be the advice for A moving forward? He wants to file for adjustment of status. I wanted to know if there would be any issues going forward.
After I've laid out all the issues, what do you think? I mean, let's let you decide if A is going to have issues based on what I said.
I think so. You might have.
I think so too. I think A needs a lawyer, and I think more importantly than a lawyer, A needs to have a heart-to-heart with their spouse and figure out what that's all about. And most importantly, A needs to do a FOIA on their file and see what in the hell's in their immigration file, because there's something in there that ain't good. I know that.
Okay. What would you recommend as a way to do the FOIA?
Oh, you file a G639. You can file it online.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ming. All right.
Oh,
How about that, Daniel?
I'm glad we got some warm-ups before that question came.
Hey, our friend Natalya is here, and she'll come on camera. So Daniel, in your honor, we'll do one last call, and we'll do it on camera.
Great.
All
Great.
right.
Hello, Jim. Hello, Daniel.
Hi, Natalya.
Hi, how are you?
Nice to see you doing good. Currently at school.
How you doing?
Well, we're happy to have you. If you could do like a walk and talk, because I miss those, just grab your phone and walk around. That would be great.
Or lay down.
Okay. Right. So here we have a piano,
great,
and
yes.
you know.
Now we're having fun.
So Nice. Let's have fun. Nice to meet you, Daniel. By the way, I've never seen any. I was not speaking with you in person
Well,
before.
we're happy to
So
have you.
thank you so much. I have texted an email to you, Jim, as you said yesterday, but I can just shortly describe what I wrote. So this January, so this December 9 till January 9, I went to Moldova to visit my family, and I had the chance to speak with Cody on the phone. So because Cody is still my husband, we haven't divorced yet.
Yeah.
So I told him if he wants to divorce, then I'm powerless to keep him as well. I cannot make him to love me and come back.
Right.
So I let him know that I will accept it. So he told me that he will serve me in February, since it will be 6 months of us not living together.
Yeah.
And I know that I do have my closest friend's husband is a lawyer, not an immigration lawyer, but just I don't know exactly how it's described, a lawyer in Louisiana, and he offered his help to divorce us if the case is not hard. But I don't know how to proceed and I need to ask Cody to write maybe letter, a notarized letter, which will state that our marriage was real. And I just don't know what to do, because the marriage was real, and the situation of us divorcing is just a nonsense in my opinion. It's like he told me I was pushing him as a husband, a man, and a person. For me, it is something that we could work with a counselor, and I offered him also through the text messages, like, can we try again? Like, can we go to the counselor and work on our marriage? And he like, no, my decision is solid. Then I also texted him, hey, you still have your pictures of your ex-girlfriends on your profile, but you deleted our marriage pictures. So why? And then on that, he answered me like, thank you for reminding me why I left you. So, probably he didn't even know that there's some more pictures left, but after this, a few days after he deleted the pictures, some of the pictures, so he found them out again. So I feel violated by like my word does mean nothing, like what I was telling to him, and but how can I prove that? And I'm happy he agreed to at least help me with the paper in the end of time when I divorced with him. But how can I protect myself for the future purpose to apply for green card again?
For 751.
Yeah.
So I would stop antagonizing him. I would stop doing it, make him mad. And while the divorce is underway, I mean, I don't think you should be thinking about having a friendly lawyer who represents you and him. I think that stuff's over. I think you need your own lawyer. I'm not saying you have to like get some lawyer to make it a big old fight or anything, but I think you need a divorce lawyer who's focused on you.
Mm-hmm.
Let him do what he wants. That you guys can get divorced with just one lawyer, but that, in my opinion, having that lawyer represent both of you is a bad idea.
No, he will represent me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he'll file the lawsuit. He'll file the divorce action, and then he'll serve your ex, and then your ex will either get his own attorney or do it on his own, right?
I guess so. Probably I misunderstood that lawyer. He just told that if Cody comes to his office and files the document, then he just can proceed with that.
Well, if that happens, if that happens like that, then that lawyer's not looking out for you.
Okay.
And so I want you to find a way to hire a lawyer to look out for you.
Okay. So when he serves me, I have to answer him, hey, here's my lawyer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't want to divorce you. What are my steps actually?
Well, that's all questions for the divorce lawyer. I don't know about that stuff. Every state is different. I don't know what the procedures are. I would say that we should think about. I don't think telling him anymore that you don't want to get divorced is helpful. I think that's just.
Right. I stopped speaking with him. That message about the girlfriends and ex photos, it was like maybe somewhere in the fall.
So I would get him to get the lawyer to serve you with the divorce. I would answer the divorce, and then I would have your lawyer ask his lawyer, say, hey, we need a short statement from him, or a short statement from him saying that the marriage was real. It just didn't work out, and that I, the husband, decided to end it. I think Natalya's a good person and should get a green card. And that's all it needs to say. Okay.
Okay. Does he need to tell a reason that he just like felt?
No reason.
No reason.
Nope. And then the divorce goes underway, and when the divorce is final, then you file a 751 without him, and hopefully, you did what I told you, which is get as much marital evidence that you can now, so that you can submit that when the time comes. But I would focus on 3 things: 1, not making him mad; 2, getting that statement; and 3, getting the divorce. And then after that, you should be fine.
Okay, I even have a recording of him. I actually, it was when we brought our broken car when we traveled back to Utah, and he was kind of like angry. I just put it on just in case, and he was yelling the words like, "Yes, I'm an asshole. Yes, I'm leaving you. Yes, this is how I just don't."
That's all
Will
good.
that not help me at all?
No, I'd include all that stuff. I'd include a transcript of that when the time comes. But right now, I want you to focus on 4 things. 4 things.
Okay.
Number 1, I wouldn't be trying to make things more combative. I'd be trying to lower the temperature.
Okay.
I'd be working on getting that statement. I'd be working on having the friendliest divorce possible, and I would be going to therapy for myself.
I am.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I gotta go get my hair cut.
Thank you so much. Have a great haircut and wonderful day
Thanks for
for both
coming.
of you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Natalya.
Just remembered, I checked my calendar. I was like, oh crap, I gotta go. Daniel, this was fun. I appreciate you coming on. You come back anytime. I think everybody was glad to see you. I miss you, and it was fun.
Thank you. I had fun too. Bye,
All right.
everyone.
See you, man. Thank you, Daniel. I'm great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of disease.